Hey guys, this is Aaron with Blue Collar Bike Works. You can also find me on Steemit at Harley Mechanics. Today we're doing something a little bit differently. I've got this Maverick 88 shotgun made by Mossberg, and we're going to chop it up. This is the full size, and we're going to chop it up and make a home defense shotgun out of it. I have a couple of bolt-ons. I have a bird's head pistol grip, and I have a 6-shot side saddle that we're going to put on it as well. This is probably a 1 to 3 beer job, so make sure you're fully stocked and stay tuned and we'll get right into it. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is we want to figure out exactly how long we want to make our shotgun when we cut it off. Right now Texas law says that it can't be longer than 18 inches, so most people manufacture them to 18.5 just to be safe. But to do that, we've got to disassemble the shotgun first. So what you want to do is you want to open the action. Up here at the top, there's a little screw. And that releases the barrel from the rest of the shotgun. So I'm going to pull this off and screw it out. And that will allow you to separate the barrel from the rest of the action. Now when we measure, technically where the end of the breech is right here is where the barrel starts, and then we're going to measure all the way down here, and I have some green tape that we're going to mark it before we cut, and we're going to make sure we're still in compliance. This shotgun has a rail on top of it, and so what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to split one of these knobs in this rail, and I want to cut it off so I can flatten everything out nice and flat, and I'm going to probably use a die grinder to do that. But I'm going to cut it a little long first, and just to make sure I can make a nice smooth clean cut. And then we're going to go from there. Alright, so I've got my barrel disassembled, and I've got my mark where I want to cut it. So from the end of the barrel breech, which is right here, to where my cut is going to be is right here, and it's right at exactly 18 inches. I'm going to try to cut it a little bit long. But the next notch is right here, which is going to be, that would put it at about 20 inches, and that's not where I want to be. But I am going to make a test cut up here somewhere, just to make sure I can cut it and make it a flat, nice, straight cut. And so I'm going to use that to practice before I actually make my final cut, which will be right down here. Alright, so I've got the barrel chucked up in my vise, and I've got it clamped pretty securely right here, and this is the end that I'm going to cut off. So I'm not really too worried about marking it up here. If you were gonna clamp it on the other side, this barrel is tapered, and there's a lot of stuff you could tear up. So if you're gonna clamp it down here, make sure you wrap it up with some towels and tape. That way you don't completely destroy the finish on the barrel. But I'm gonna make my test cut right here where I made a mark. And I'm gonna make sure I can cut it off nice and flush, and I have enough to finish it up. And then my final cut is gonna be right here. So I left myself enough to clamp it back up and chuck it up to make sure I can make a clean cut. I've got my high-speed grinder with a cutoff wheel chucked up and ready to go, and then I've already finished my first beer, so it's about time to crack open another one. But I'll show you guys in a few minutes what I end up with. Not too bad. That definitely leaves me some room to clean up, but don't touch the end of that. It's hot. That's what I cut off, and I'm pretty confident I got a pretty straight, more or less straight cut, but I have enough finishing wheels and grinders and stuff like that that I can make sure and finish it out pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and chuck up the rest of the barrel here and make my final cut. All right, I think that one turned out a little bit better. It's a pretty flat. I'm gonna need to flatten it out just a little bit, but it should be pretty good. So I'm gonna chuck this back up and get rigged up with some more tools, and then we'll pick it up from there. All right, so I've got the barrel wrapped up with a microfiber and wrapped up with tape, and it's secure in the vise. And I did that so I don't want to mess up the finish. And then I've got a nice flat surface here I can work with, where I can make sure it's nice and square. I switched out my cutoff wheel to heavy duty grinding wheel, and I'm gonna plane it down. And I've got a little bit of play. I've got maybe a 1/4 of an inch to take off, so it's gonna take me a little while to grind that down smooth. But I'm gonna stop the video and then show you what I ended up with. All right, so I didn't take it down as far as I thought. I was gonna take it down to the middle of that notch right here, but I kind of like the way it looks with a little bit of that rail exposed. And I've got it pretty straight, pretty flat. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to a sanding wheel on my grinder, and I'm going to smooth out all these marks, take off all the flash, deburr the inside, and then I have a polishing wheel set up on a grinder, and I might even go and polish it up a little bit. But that's where I'm at right there. This is beer number 2. And so far so good. All right, I've got it pretty nice and square and flat. Let's see if I can get in here where it'll focus. And just where I like it. Where's it gonna focus? There we go. And I've got it pretty well deburred. It's nice and smooth. And I'm going to take it off and remeasure it. So I came out pretty good where I thought I wanted to get it cut. Actually right before that little boss right there. So I'm going to mount it back up, or I'm going to take it off and measure it and mount it back up and see where we're at. Alright, so I've got it measured back up, and we came in right at like 18 and an eighth, which is just barely over the legal limit, which is perfect. Here's the 2 pieces that I cut off, roughly 9 3/4 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tear down the rest of this, and I'm going to clean out this barrel real good. I'm going to swap out the parts, put the side saddle on, and then I'll show you guys the finished product here in just a few minutes. All right, so the way this stock comes off is there is a Phillips screw on the back of that butt pad, and all you gotta do is take off the lower one, and then this whole thing will spin around like that. And then it's hard to see if I can get in the light right. Way down in there, there's a slotted hex head bolts. And I'm going to take that off, and it helps to have a really long screwdriver so you can reach it, and then this whole stock rear end is going to come off. Well, I ran into a slight problem. Turns out this is the wrong grip. Apparently, I got this off of Amazon, and it is by Shockwave Technologies, and it is stamped R870, which would be a Remington 870. When I looked in the description of this piece, it said it fit a Mossberg 500 and a Mossberg 88. But the bolt that came with it that goes through here is the wrong thread. It's actually too small to thread into the back of the receiver here. I found a bolt that is the right thread pitch, but it is too short. So I'm gonna have to look around and see if I have a a bolt that's this long that'll fit through here, and then the hole in here is too small. This diameter bolt won't fit through here either. And to make it all work, I'm gonna have to shave off the end of this. See where there's this lip on here? It's made to fit into the back of the receiver. Well, it's completely different because this is a Mossberg and not a Remington. So this notch here in the bottom looks like it's the same, but even if I find the right bolts, it's not gonna bolt up right. I'm gonna have to Dremel it or tear it up or do something. So I haven't decided if I'm gonna send this back. I think it's too late because I've had it for a couple months, and this pistol grip was only 25 bucks. So I don't know if they sent me the wrong one or what, but I'm determined to put this thing together tonight. So I'm gonna drink another beer and see what happens, and see if I can't find some parts to modify it and make it work. All right, so I'm looking at my Amazon order, and it says I ordered that part on October 28th, and it says in the description that it fits Mossberg 500 and Maverick 88. I scrolled down and they also have one that fits a Remington 870, and I don't know if they sent me the wrong one by mistake or what happened, but I think I'm gonna email the company, and I'm gonna see if they'll send me another one or see if they want this one back, because I really don't feel like cutting it up and making it work, and for a $32 part. So I'm gonna email them and see what happens. But I'm gonna put the rest of the shotgun back together and put the side saddle on it, and we'll see where we're at with that. Okay, to install the side saddle, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take out this pin here, and then there's a screw here that you actually have to get through on the receiver side, through the receiver, that flathead screw right there. We're going to take those two out, and then this mounting plate is going to mount here, and it's going to mount a screw there, and then that pin that we took out is going to have a screw that's going to go through the other side, and it's going to thread up right here, and then from there we can mount our shell holder on that. So I'm going to go ahead and do all that, and then I'll show you how it looks when it's all installed. Okay, so I got the mount for the side saddle on, and the instructions for the Mossberg are 4 sentences, and they don't really tell you a whole lot. So I had to kind of figure it out. The screw that goes through the back side, you can see the head of it right there. There's one in the kit that's a little bit longer, and then it has a little tiny nut. And make sure you put Loctite on. I put blue Loctite on both of these. And then the pin that we knocked out on the back has this Allen screw, and then there's a washer that goes with it. If you don't put the washer on, you'll have too much of this thread sticking out, and it's kind of confusing the way it goes together, but I have all these extra screws, and these are the mounts for the actual shell holder. The socket that you need is a 1/4 inch. So luckily I had one on hand, or they don't tell you need any tools for the install. So I'm gonna button the rest of this up and put the original stock back on it and call it a night. All right guys, so I got the shotgun all put back together. It is definitely shorter. We cut off almost 10 inches. Here's a good look at the side saddle, and then here's a look at the end of the barrel. And I'm pretty happy with the way it came out, minus the stock, which I ordered and was the wrong one. So I'd like to have the right one on there, and that would make a pretty nice little home defense shotgun. But so far, it's a pretty good little home defense shotgun anyway. The way it's set up, I'm gonna take it home and find a nice spot for it and load it up, and then I'll probably even do a shoot video when I get a chance. With all the messing around I did with the stock, I ended up drinking 3 beers. So I'll let you guys know what happens in the comments if I get an update from Amazon and the company I ordered from, if they send me another pistol grip, or what happens with that, or if I have to send it back. I ordered it almost a month ago, so I'm within the window to return it through Amazon, supposedly, if the holiday weekend doesn't mess me up. So I'll let you guys know. If you liked the video, please subscribe. Please like it, upvote it, and check me out on Steam It, Harley Mechanics with an X, and we'll see you next time. Thanks. Hey guys, so I am back at home and I've got the shotgun cleaned up. I've got the side saddle loaded. You can take a look at it there. It looks pretty tough. And I'm pretty happy with the way the shotgun came out overall, minus the fiasco with the pistol grip. But I left my shop 15 minutes ago, and by the time I got home, I had an email from the supplier stating that they wanted my order number, that they were going to refund my purchase and send me another pistol grip in the mail. So in less than an hour from me emailing them through Amazon, they have already contacted me, and it is a Friday night at almost midnight. So I'll keep you guys updated. I think that's pretty decent customer service, so we'll see what happens. Once again, I am running Winchester PDX. This is what I like to run in my home defense shotguns. It is a rifled slug with double-aught buckshot behind it. This stuff runs really good. I've shot it at targets and watermelons, and it is pretty effective. It'll shoot through walls if you need it to. So once again, there's a look at the side saddle and then the end of the shotgun when we cut it off. So thanks again for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Follow me on Steam It, Harley Mechanics, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks.